This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so the edition is mentioned here, the year and the supplements and how many volumes each edition had, and the under whose chairmanship the IP on the Indian Pharmacopoeia was published. So the latest edition is under the chairmanship of Dr. C.K. Mishra. Okay, so now generally for 5 or 10 marks, this is what is asked. They would be asking what is the salient features of each edition. So in your textbooks, it's only given up to, I guess, fourth or fifth edition. They have not come to the latest. The textbooks have not been revised. That is the reason. So the salient features of the first edition, which is in the year 1955, is it was completely written in English because everybody, it's a universal language, and before everybody could, they did not make in regional languages. So it was in English. Titles of the monograph that was given in Latin. So, and under each Latin title, even the abbreviated title was given, and all the doses that was given in the metric system. Okay, so metric system is nothing but the meter, kilometers, all those are I hope you all know metric system. Okay, and the English system. So the doses were expressed in the metric system, how much it should be, and the weights and measurements in the also was given in the uh, metric system, that is gram, kg, and after every drug, its preparation also was given at the end of each how to prepare that particular drug preparation, and the temperature was given in degrees Celsius thermometric scale, and for the drugs whose solubility is not known, so I don't know whether a drug is exact solubility is not known, how much amount, so they would just say, okay, like for sugar is very soluble in water, for some is freely soluble in water. These were the terms which were used in the Pharmacopoeia, in the first edition of Indian Pharmacopoeia, of freely soluble, sparingly soluble, etc. were used. Next is the second edition of IP, which came in the year 1966. Okay, so the first edition was in 1955 and second edition was in 1966. So another thing is, before that, under it was there was a committee, right? Indian Pharmacopoeia Committee. So the first, when the first edition came out, that committee, there was one chairman, then there are total 11 members in that committee, and along with that, one member would be a secretary, one would be an assistant secretary. And so the committee then again would appoint subcommittees, and they would help in the compilation work, like if related to, by there would be pharmacology by a subcommittee, there would be pharmacognosy subcommittee, there would be pharmaceutical committee, there would be general committee. So all these subcommittees were there, and these all subcommittees would help in the compilation of this Indian Pharmacopoeia. Okay, so next is the second edition of the Pharmacopoeia. That is in the year 1966, and its supplement was published in the year 1975. So here, as we saw in the previous first edition, the titles of the monographs were given in Latin. But when it came to the second edition, it changed. The Latin was changed to English language. The official titles were given in monographs. Then the words of the title transposed to give the names of the drug first. That is, for example, if it's previously it was injection of aminophylline. Okay, so now it is made to, or in the second edition, it was made to aminophylline injection. That is, first the drug name was given, and after that, whatever dosage form. So the words of the title is transposed to give the name of the drug first. And here again, the doses were expressed in metric system only. Okay, and solubility was expressed in parts of solvent per unit part of solute. Then the preparations of the drugs were given immediately. So in the previous edition, it was seen that it was given at the end of not all the drugs, only of some of the monographs they would give. So here it is given in the second edition, after every monograph of the drug, the preparation was given below the monograph. And along with the next would be the salient feature was test for sterility was modified to provide for detection of fungi. So previously fungi was not included, it was just the bacteria. Aerobic and anaerobic bacteria was given. So now they have also added the test for sterility for detection of fungi, how to detect fungi. Then newer analytical techniques like non-aqueous titrimetry, column chromatography were also included in this particular edition. Then for tablets and injections, again, usual strength. Like for example, paracetamol is sold in the market in 650 mg, or there are lesser also. So whatever marketed strength is it, that also would be mentioned in the pharmacopoeia. The usual strength which is marketed for the tablets and the injections are also mentioned in the second edition of the IP 1996. Now for second edition, again, the members were the same. We have a chairman, members, assistant secretary, and member secretary, and also subcommittees were there who would help in the compilation. Okay, so the same number of members, that is 11 members. Next is the third edition of IP, which came in the year 1985. Now, here the chairman, there was one chairman, the members were increased to 13. So, and along with them, we have a member secretary, then we have an assistant secretary, and then subcommittees. Like they would see into biological products, subcommittee was there, antibiotics subcommittee was there, chemicals and pharmaceutical aids subcommittee would be there, parentals and sterile foods products subcommittee. So all these people would help in the preparing the draft monographs and appendices. Okay, so coming to the salient features of the third edition, it is here also, like in the previous, we saw newer techniques like non-aqueous titrimetry and column chromatography was included. So here again, still more analytical techniques like flame photometry, electrophoresis, fluorometry, which was not mentioned in the previous edition. Those were again added for certain chemical analysis. Then dissolution also was introduced for some kind of tablets. Then disintegration test was again modified. So here the test apparatus and the method of testing was changed. So that's why the test was amended, or amended means changed. Then microbial limit tests for certain pharmaceutical aids and oral liquid preparations were introduced. Then pyrogen test was revised. So pyrogen test is generally is a test for parenterals, where they see the any microorganism. The pyrogen is a basically a microorganism, a microbial product. So they would see the presence of pyrogen. So that test was also revised. Then gas liquid chromatography was introduced for determination of alcohol concentration in various preparation. Then test for determination of viscosity was modified by using or involving the use of Oswald viscometer. So Oswald viscometer is an apparatus which is used for determination of viscosity. So the test for determination of viscosity was modified by involving the use of this particular apparatus, Oswald viscometer. Then new appendix on water for pharmaceutical use was introduced. So with that, we could clearly separate or distinguish the water, like in terms of whether it is purified water or water for injection or sterile water for injection. Now you cannot use plain purified water for injections. For that, separate sterile water for injection has to be used. Okay, and the same water for injection or sterile water for injection. So this appendix on water for pharmaceutical use was introduced, and that would give the standard official standards for these kind of waters, different types of waters. Then some drugs were renamed. For example, previously it was acetyl salicylic acid in the previous edition. Now it's changed to aspirin. Like more commonly used names were used. Then many drugs were omitted from this third. They were deleted from whichever was previously present in the second. They removed in the third edition, and also they are included newer drugs in this particular edition. Okay, so now moving on to the fourth edition of Pharmacopoeia, that is in the year 1996. Now, here again, the government of India on reconstitution Okay, sorry for the interruption from current slide. Yes. So here, the tenure of each committee would be 5 years. So this that committee would then publish the pharmacopoeia. So for the fourth edition, there was again a chairman. Then members increased now from 11. First it was 11 initially, then it became 13, and then it is now for this fourth edition, the committee members they were 18 member. 18 people were there, and they also had a member secretary and assistant secretary. And like the previous committees we saw here, also there were subcommittees and working groups who would then again help in compilation work. Okay, so now in the fourth edition, the salient features what they noticed was there were around 1,149 monographs and 123 appendices, and computer generated structural formula was introduced. So previously there was no structure, it was just plainly written. So there was computer generated structural formula was introduced, and the titles are changed to include more commonly accepted names in India. Like previously, like for example, scopolamine hydrobromide was used. So now in this edition, the more commonly accepted names, like it's changed to hyoscine hydrobromide. Okay. Then next is IR and UR, that is infrared and ultra red absorption spectrometric tests for identification of drug substance was introduced instead of the classical chemical test. So previously in all previous editions, what they used to use for the chemical test, the classic chemical tests were used. So now in this edition onwards, infrared and ultra red absorption spectrophotometric tests are used for the identification of a drug substance. And in the end, in an appendix, they would even give the spectra that how that particular drug substance would look. That spectra was included at the end in the appendix. Okay. Next is the HPLC, that is the high performance liquid chromatography is used, and this would be used to analyze any formulation. So now I don't know a particular drug, suppose. So with the help of this HPLC, you can analyze that particular unknown drug. So they would give for each drug how it is to be carried out. That method would be given. And compared to the UV and all, this HPLC is a widely used method, and it would be more accurate. So previously biological assays were used. The HPLC is considered to be more accurate. The reading would be more correct, and also it would be very easy. So other previous tests were very difficult and very less accurate. Okay. Next is a test for bacterial endotoxins were introduced. So this is again a previously we saw like test for pyrogen tests were there in the third edition. So here tests for bacterial endotoxins were introduced for some articles, not for all. For instead of pyrogen test, they would be using this bacterial endotoxin. Are you all there? I hope you all are understanding.
Yes, ma'am.
It's nothing. You all don't have. You just have to remember the features of all the editions or whatever is given in the book, and maybe at the latest one, 2018. So as I said, that is not there in your textbook. Okay, the 2018 one. It's only till the fourth edition. So the 2018, I have included that. You can later, once this is over, I'll share this PPT. So I guess today we can wind up the first chapter, and the next class we will start is the metrology part, the calculations and all. Okay, so I'll share the PPT so you all start reading every day. Fine. So I hope you all understood so far what I have taught you all now. These pharmacopoeia and each features of it. You all should remember the years also, which edition it is, in which year, and what are the changes introduced in every edition that you should remember. Okay, so maximum in each there are, you have to remember at least 5 to 6. If you can remember more than that, then well and good. Yeah. And next in the salient feature is quantitative method was introduced for determining the particulate matter in injectable preparation. So remember, injectable preparations go directly into your systemic circulation. So whenever you see, there should not be a single foreign particle or microorganism. So for these foreign particles are nothing but these particulate matter. So in order to determine that, quantitative methods instead of qualitative methods are used. That is, this quantitative method is replaced and instead qualitative method is used. Then many general monographs like for eye drops, eye ointments and all pessaries and all were included. And specific biological assays and tests are transferred from an appendix to individual monographs. So till the previous editions, all these assays and tests were given in an appendix, which would be at the end of the book, okay, at the end. So here, instead, what they did is all those things were shifted from this appendix to and under each monograph or to the individual monographs, these assays and tests were given. And this is a salient feature of the IP 2018. So here you can see how the Indian Pharmacopoeia looks. This is volume 1. Okay. So here in this 220 new monographs are added. That means so many new drugs are added and it's monograph. And 366 monographs are revised. So it was already there previously, but they have made slight changes to it. And 7 monographs were omitted. And the pyrogen test is changed completely with bacterial endotoxin test. Then 170 new chemical monographs, which include this 49 APIs. So what was this API, Lohitaksha? Anybody, what is API? Hello. Can anybody tell me what is an API? Full form of API? So many of them, you all are there. Pooja Devi, Pooja. Trisha Kumari. Trisha,
Yes, ma'am.
what is API?
Ma'am.
1 week holiday and you people forgot what is an API? Or do you all actually switch off your, just log in or join the meeting and then disappear? You all are not listening.
It is active pharmaceutical ingredient.
Oh, very good. Active pharmaceutical ingredient. Okay. Mute yourself. Right. So new 49 APIs or active pharmaceutical ingredients were introduced. 64 formulation, 53 fixed dose formulations, and 2 excipients were introduced. Then 2 antibiotics, new herbs and herbal product monographs, radiopharmaceutical monographs, veterinary non-biological monographs, biological monographs. All these were included in the new or the latest edition of 2018 IP. And even general chapters on maintenance, identification, preservation, and disposal of microorganisms were included. Okay, so basically what a pharmacopoeia contains is, remember, the list of the drug and other related substances, the source from where it's obtained, if it's an animal source, plant source, everything will be mentioned. Then the description, whether it is carbide, color, crystalline, amorphous, all those. Then the tests used, then the formula for a preparation, then the use of that particular drug, the dose, and the storage conditions are mentioned in this monographs, remember. And so these are the list of the pharmacopoeias that you all can see. We have the Indian Pharmacopoeia, IP, British Pharmacopoeia, BP, USP, United States Pharmacopoeia, European, International, Japanese. Then we have Martindale Extra Pharmacopoeia, British Pharmaceutical Codex, Merck Index, then a British National Formulary, US National Formulary, United States Dispensatory, and Indian Pharmaceutical Codex. So these are the list of the pharmacopoeias and the reference books which are commonly used in India. Okay, so with that, your first chapter is over. Any doubts? My meeting may end exact at 12 or 12:05. So any doubts so far?
No, ma'am.
Has anybody been taking tests for y'all over whatever y'all have finished? Is anything told to y'all?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Nothing. So it's just your classes, normal classes. So has
Yes,
anybody
ma'am.
finished any one chapter so far?
Yes, ma'am. HECP class, one chapter is done.
Okay, so after that, how did he just moved on to the next chapter? That's it?
No, she hasn't taken the class yet.
Okay, fine. Okay. So just go through the first chapter before I start with the next chapter. I'll just how I usually ask those fill in the blanks kind of questions. I'll ask. That's it. Okay, so you all read, and then if you all have any doubts, we can clear them that. So now what happens is it's like I just keep talking. I don't know what actually you all hear was, and since because of the bandwidth problem, we don't even switch on our video. So I don't know whether you all are actually listening to me or not. So for that reason, next this, please read the first chapter thoroughly. I'll ask questions. Okay, before we at least 5 to 10 minutes I'll spend on the first chapter, and then I'll move on to the next chapter, that is metrology. So in this you will be studying all the weights, measures. Okay, clear everybody?
Yes,
So please
ma'am.
send me the attendance. Did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
note down?
Yes, ma'am. I'll forward it in the group.
Okay, fine. Okay. Is only a Pooja, Aisha talking, nobody else, everybody is there. Because only 15 people are there today. Some of this, Meghana is there, okay. Some Harsha, he never joins. Is he not? Is everybody there in the students group, Aisha? Because this is including
Yes,
me,
ma'am.
15. Means only 14 students have joined today.
Yes, ma'am. I think we are 15 or something.
Hmm.
Harsha is experiencing network problem,
Okay.
so he just logs in and logs out.
Because I did not see him arriving also. I just saw you people. Dinesh is there, Komal, Risha, Lohitaksha, Meghna, Mutturaj, Pooja, both the Poojas, Prashant, Sachin, Siddharth, Sindhu, Trishan, Yashwan. These are the ones I've noticed. That's it. I have never seen Harsha. I don't think he was there in any of my previous classes also.
Okay, ma'am. I think he was there in the morning session.
Huh.
Yeah, but he's not.
Sachin is there. Okay, yeah, he's not there now. Anyway, you just send me. I'll again compare it with Sir, because he will have in the GoToMeeting itself. There is one more history of attendance which I cannot view. So once you send, I'll just cross check with Sir.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Okay, I'll end the meeting. Good day to all of you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.